welcome to this deep dive. Imagine looking at your perfectly color-coded daily
Oh
calendar.
yeah, those neat little time blocks.
Right. Stretching from like 6:00 a.m. all the way to 10:00 p.m.
Uh-huh.
And then realizing that very schedule is biologically designed to make you fail.
It's a harsh reality, but yeah, it really is.
Because we have this cultural expectation of extreme, almost robotic discipline when it comes to productivity. You know,
Right, absolutely.
You map out every single minute on a spreadsheet, you point to it, and you declare to the world that you have engineered the perfect day.
Well, it is a comforting illusion. I mean, we crave that immediate sense of total control. You look at the spreadsheet and you feel like you've already accomplished something just by drawing the boxes.
Exactly. But then you actually step into the reality of, say, a Tuesday morning.
And it all falls apart.
Completely. Suddenly that perfect spreadsheet is absolutely useless. Your energy drops, or like an unexpected email blows up your morning, and that pristine daily landscape just becomes incredibly messy. We want to be machines executing tasks, but we end up feeling like complete failures because we couldn't stick to the grid.
And that happens because traditional time management advice, it usually just ignores human neurobiology. I mean,
Yeah.
building a schedule that actually works and holds up under pressure isn't about becoming a robot.
Right.
It's about navigating cognitive friction and working alongside your own psychology.
Which is exactly why we are so thrilled to welcome you, the listener, to this deep dive today. Our mission is to unpack a massive stack of sources detailing productivity, the science of habit formation, and the psychology of confidence.
To help you design a daily schedule that actually survives contact with reality.
Yes, we aren't going to just sit here and tell you to try harder or, hustle more.
Yeah.
We're going to focus on constructing your day using specific methods we found in the sources.
Like optimizing your morning routine, habit stacking, and the power of 1% daily improvements.
Right.
And the overarching theme in all the data we're looking at is that building a daily schedule isn't about rigid, sweeping life overhauls.
Right.
It's not about waking up tomorrow as a completely reinvented person. It is entirely about engineering small, sustainable shifts in behavior and mindset.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if we want to build a sustainable schedule, we have to start at the absolute beginning of the day. The launch pad, basically.
The crucial first few minutes.
Exactly. And before you can build a successful schedule for the day, you have to nail that foundation. And it starts the exact moment you wake up.
Yeah, and the research is wildly clear on what is destroying our focus before we even get out of bed.
It's the dopamine trap.
Yeah.
You absolutely should not grab your phone and check social media first thing in the morning. I mean, it is just disastrous.
Oh, it really is. That single action dictates your cognitive performance for the rest of the day.
Grabbing your phone immediately is like, it's like stepping straight out of a warm, quiet bed into a chaotic, incredibly loud city intersection.
That's a great way to put it.
Right. You are instantly hit with a barrage of other people's emergencies, polarizing opinions, and highlight reels. It immediately overloads the brain with dopamine, totally destroying your ability to focus later.
And this raises an important question, right? Like, how should we transition from sleep to waking?
Because we obviously have to wake up somehow.
Right. And the biological alternative found in the sources is beautifully simple. First, you drink a tall glass of water.
Just water.
Just water. After hours of sleep, your body is in a state of mild dehydration. Water isn't just about quenching thirst, it naturally wakes up the body and jumpstarts your metabolic rate.
It's like literally flushing the system to get the gears moving.
Exactly. And the second part of that biological wake-up is getting natural light into your eyes, just walking over and opening the curtains.
I enthusiastically love this part.
Yeah, sunlight hitting your optic nerve is the biological switch that stops melatonin production. It resets your circadian rhythm.
So you're naturally waking up the body without the artificial panic of an email inbox. And once you're physically awake, there are two specific source guidelines for this morning block that I really want to highlight because they involve movement and actual joy.
Not just productivity hacks.
Right, not just more grinding. First, just 5 minutes of light stretching or yoga is enough to improve blood flow and deliver an energy boost.
Because of the adenosine.
Wait, unpack that for a second. The adenosine.
Yeah, so throughout the day, a chemical called adenosine builds up in your brain, making you feel tired. When you sleep, your brain clears it out. But often when you wake up, there's still some lingering adenosine attached to your receptors.
Which is that groggy, horrible sleep inertia feeling.
Exactly. And 5 minutes of movement drastically increases your heart rate, pumping oxygen to the brain and physically flushing out that residual adenosine.
Wow, okay, so a literal biological flush.
Yes.
And then the second guideline here is what the sources call the 15-minute rule, which I love. You dedicate 15 minutes to something you actually enjoy before starting any chores or work.
Right, so reading, meditation, or just having a calm breakfast.
You consciously carve that time out.
And for you listening, think about how this shifts the morning. It moves you from a stressful, reactive scramble into a period of intentional control.
You're setting the right emotional tone for the rest of the schedule.
Exactly. You're telling your nervous system, I am in charge.
Okay, so we've secured the anchor. The morning routine is established. But once that's done, how do we schedule the rest of the day without getting completely overwhelmed?
That's the challenge.
Right, because we don't try to change our entire life in 24 hours. We use micro actions.
Which brings us to the 1% rule. The idea that improving by just 1% every single day leads to colossal long-term results through the compound effect.
Okay, but wait, I have to push back on this a little bit.
Sure.
Isn't 1% way too slow for someone who needs immediate results? Like, what if I have a massive deadline approaching next week? 1% feels like using a squirt gun on a house fire.
I hear that a lot. But what's fascinating here is that we often try to change everything in one day, right? We go at 100 miles an hour, rely entirely on willpower, and then we quickly give up.
Because we just burn out our brains.
Right. Making habits incredibly small ensures they are impossible to skip. That is the true secret to success. If you make the habit 1%, it creates zero friction.
So you'll actually do it.
You'll actually do it. And consistency is what builds the skill. You cannot compound 0%.
That makes a lot of sense. And to make executing those tiny habits even easier, the sources introduce habit stacking.
Oh, this is a brilliant strategy.
It really is. Instead of trying to find a brand new time block, you attach a new habit directly to an existing one.
Right. You piggyback on existing neural pathways.
So a great example from the sources is after I drink my morning coffee, which is the existing habit, I will read 5 pages of a book, which is the new habit.
Yes. The coffee becomes the biological trigger for the reading.
And it removes all the guesswork from your schedule.
Completely. And to really cement this, we have to talk about environment design.
Oh, friction.
Exactly. If you want good habits to stick, make them easy. Decrease the friction. Leave the book on top of the coffee maker.
And to break bad habits, you make them hard.
Right. Like moving your phone far away, maybe in another room when you're trying to focus. You manipulate your surroundings.
Okay, so we're stacking habits, we're designing our environment, but what about the golden rule of scheduling?
Ah, yes. Don't miss twice.
Don't miss twice.
Missing one day is an accident. Life happens. But missing 2 days in a row is the birth of a new bad habit.
Because your brain literally starts pruning away the good connections if you stop using them.
Synaptic pruning, yes. So if you mess up Tuesday, Wednesday's only goal is simply re-engaging that habit.
Okay, so you have a morning routine, you have stacked habits, but what happens when life gets in the way and you do miss a day?
It happens to everyone.
Right. How do you prevent the whole schedule from falling apart? Because usually we just spiral into guilt.
And that requires examining the psychology of confidence and failure, because fear of making a mistake often blocks our development.
We just avoid the task entirely.
Exactly. We have to reframe failure not as the end of the world, but as an essential part of the learning and growth process.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because perfectionism is a trap.
It totally is.
It's like refusing to drive a car just because you might hit a red light across town. It's absurd.
You wouldn't just sit in your driveway indefinitely.
No. And the sources have this great mantra for this. Done is better than perfect. A messy, poorly executed 1% habit keeps the momentum alive.
Whereas a perfect habit that you never actually do is worthless.
Right. So how do we actually implement that?
Well, there is a practical psychological tool from the sources. It's a simple technique where you ask yourself, and what's next?
And what's next?
Yeah. In Russian sources, it's often framed as, sure. This simple question helps you logically assess the real consequences of a potential mistake.
Oh, I see. So it's a cognitive circuit breaker.
Exactly. It immediately lowers anxiety levels. Because when we fear a mistake, our amygdala treats it like a literal survival threat.
Like, if I write a bad report today, I'll get fired and lose my house.
Right. But by asking, and what's next, you force the logical part of your brain to step in. Okay, I write a bad report, and what's next? Well, tomorrow, I edit it.
The monster under the bed is just a pile of laundry.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this ties right back to our 1% improvements. By fixing our attention on even the smallest achievements, what we call small wins, we build a resilient, sustainable self-esteem.
So you stop viewing yourself as someone who needs to be flawless.
Right, and you start viewing yourself as someone who simply shows up consistently. That keeps us sticking to our schedule even when it's imperfect.
I love that. So what does this all mean for you listening? Let's recap real quick. First, guard your first waking minutes from your phone. Flush the system with water and movement.
Secure that anchor.
Yes. Then, bypass decision fatigue by stacking tiny 1% habits onto things you already do automatically.
Use your environment to your advantage.
And finally, protect your momentum by ditching perfectionism. Ask yourself, and what's next? And remember, never miss twice.
It really shifts the entire paradigm of how we look at our days, and it leaves us with a final, I think, really thought-provoking idea to mull over.
Oh, let's hear it.
We spend so much time trying to optimize our daily schedules to fit more things in.
Oh, constantly. We want to cram 20 hours of work into 8.
But what if the ultimate result of mastering these micro-habits and conquering the fear of missing out isn't about doing more at all?
Wait, really? Then what is it about?
What if it's actually about gaining the freedom to do fewer things, but with infinitely deeper intention?
Wow. Achieving clarity, not just capacity.
Exactly.
That is profound, and that is exactly what we want you to explore on your own. We really encourage you to just try stacking one tiny 1% habit tomorrow morning.
Just one.
Start there. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.